State lawmakers don't just want to root out lower-level Dickinson State University personnel responsible for the false enrollment reporting and financial wrongdoing at the school.
For us to just say, well, we'll sweep it under the rug, I can't buy that.
State lawmakers want to find out just how high responsibility for the scandal goes.
I hope that the Chancellor's office has some comments on this, because what is the tie? What's their responsibility? What's their role in this whole thing? I want to know. You know, what do we do up in the office to make sure this doesn't happen?
North Dakota University System Chancellor Bill Goetz obliged and took on some tough questions.
We are today dwelling on this audit, this performance audit. I wish we could spend as much time talking about the tremendous university system that we have and all the good that is taking place on behalf of our students and citizenry.
But state lawmakers want to find out exactly who did what.
This is an embarrassment to the North Dakota higher education system when it comes out of national news that we're a diploma mill.
The House Majority Leader zeroed in on oversight at DSU.
How do you view the role of your office and the board in this whole situation? I mean, there's no responsibility there. There is responsibility there. I mean, I'm having trouble following the chain of command here.
Well, Mr. Chairman, Representative Carlson, it's this way. We have policies in place. We have discretion of campuses in terms of the handling of tuition and tuition waivers. The reports are reviewed and looked at in terms of those amounts, and the greater share of the tuition waivers system-wide are at NDSU and UND, and most of those all relate to graduate students. When we look at Dickinson State and the tuition waivers that were being granted, I, at that time, when I saw the report, the first report in this regard, I was very concerned about the international student population in terms of numbers on campus, of which I had discussions with President McCollum about being very concerned. And so in regard to my communication, looking at the report, when something like this does stand out, it, in this case, was taken up with the President. And it certainly has evolved to the point where we are today.
This is an embarrassment to the system.
Lawmakers are not happy with the situation.
Chancellor, does the board and the board office have policies on tuition waivers today?
That is, Mr. Chairman, Representative Carlson, that's an institutional matter in terms of decisions that are made, with the exception of the tuition waivers that are in law, and we have any number of those that have been responded to by legislation as determined by the legislature.
So do you have the campuses report to you the amount of tuition waivers they're granting?
We get, Mr. Chairman, Representative Carlson, we get that and we receive that information, yes, by way of the report.
And what do you do with that information? Obviously, this has been going on a while, and you would think there would have been a red flag waving all over the place here.
Mr. Chairman, Representative Carlson, a red flag in regard to what?
The quantity and the amount of waivers being granted in a dollar volume for a fairly small budget campus.
Various reports submitted to the Chancellor's office by DSU over the years contained warnings that something was wrong at the school.
Is there someone in your office in charge of this? I mean, you have someone who deals with the tuitions and the waivers and the enrollment numbers and all those things. Is there somebody in charge of that should have been waving the flag for you?
We have certainly this report comes into the office. It is looked at by our Vice Chancellor of Administrative Affairs and also the Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs, and the report is also taken to the State Board of Higher Education.
So we talk about a bunch of changes coming at Dickinson State. Should there be changes in your office on how this is reviewed?
Well, Mr. Chairman, Representative Carlson, I'm not sure. Obviously, when we look at issues as they arise in an organization the size of what we have and the depth of staffing that we have, we do the best we can in conducting those reviews. And the fact of the matter is that we have tuition waivers as one isolated issue, and that is what's being drawn upon in terms of minimizing the university system office I can tell you there are a lot of issues that we deal with on a daily basis that are far beyond just the tuition waiver issue.
State lawmakers say the issues at DSU impact all of the other colleges and universities in North Dakota.
That can't be helping recruiting for our other 10 universities out there. I had a lady call me from Canada. She said, my daughter wants to come down to Dickinson State on a volleyball scholarship, but with what we read in the news, we're afraid to send her down there.
We're confronted with these challenges as we have been. Our president at Dickinson State is working on this 24/7. I call him during the day and I ask him, how are you doing? He says, I'm still vertical, which is a good sign. But let's not forget, this audit, in my mind, serves a real purpose, not only in making determination of the issues that existed on that campus, but I tell you, it's a lesson of learning. It's a symbolic thing, and it better run deeper than that for our other institutions.
State lawmakers hope DSU's issues are not symbolic of a bigger system-wide problem.
We're talking about this issue at Dickinson State University. It's concerning. And I'm wondering how much of a comfort level we should have that at other institutions there may not be other issues equally disturbing that we're not aware of. And very honestly, that's very concerning to me.
Well, Mr. Chairman, Representative Scarpel, I guess I live with that on a daily basis. You always have that behind you in terms of my role. I guess we could ask the same question of each of you in terms of the organizations, the business enterprises that you operate, and the decisions that you make relative to the unknown of employees. And it's not something that I can say doesn't exist, or there may be issues, obviously, but you have great reliance upon your presidents, the employees of the campus, that in fact they are doing things right. And when you have issues that begin to arise and you detect that there's things that look inappropriate, you follow up and you act accordingly. And that's true of any business organization. It's true of any agency in state government that I can think of.
State lawmakers want to get to the bottom of things, and they plan to further address the state's higher ed situation at next month's interim higher ed committee meeting.
Should everybody that was involved that knew about this just walk to the side and say, I guess it's okay because we fired the president? I don't think so.